My name is Clifford White. I'm a JTech student, and today we're going to talk about the fuel system. We're going to go ahead and start from the fuel pump and work our way to the engine. This is the fuel pump. It's sitting inside the tank. And right now we have, as far as the meter is concerned, this is just a residual number because we haven't started the car. The only way this number will go up is when the car is actually being crunked. It's basically a pre-primed system. So once we crank the car up, this number will increase, showing that we are connected here to the spark wire or the hot wire here, and it's grounded to the chassis or common ground. And we're going to show, once the car is crunked, that the number will increase. And as you can see, the number increased to 10.4, 10.5. So we know now that the pump is working. Okay, now this is the diagram of the 06 Camry we did the fuel pump test on, okay? They all share the same power, however, they have different grounds, and all the grounds are coming from the ECM, as you can see here. Once the key is crunked, they all simultaneously will shoot off because of the same power line, but because of the ECM controlling with the ground, they'll be doing different pulsations. So in other words, it's timed differently. And this is basically the diagram for the 06 Camry. This is called a fuel gauge, fuel pressure gauge actually. And what this does, it actually tells you how much pressure is coming from the fuel tank going toward the engine. Now, this particular engine on the fuel rail, normally they come with a Schrader valve, but this particular engine did not. So what we had to do is put an adapter on, what you see right there, okay? Now, once this is set up, you make sure that the car cannot be crunked over. So what you do, you take out the main fuse, the ignition fuse, which is fuse 30, out, so that way it doesn't turn over. That way no fuel comes spewing out, okay? With that said, once you have it set up like this, it's going to be on 0. Once you crank the car, with this particular car, the needle will move once you crank it. Some cars may even show it once you hook it up to the Schrader valve. Sometimes you might see pressure on there, but don't let it scare you. On this particular model, it has to be crunked in order to show you, and that's what I'm getting ready to do now. Now we're going to go ahead and show you how you can check your injectors. You can do one or two ways. You can use the stethoscope or a very long screwdriver. And what you want to do is, if you use the screwdriver, you want to make sure you get to the back of the injector and making sure it doesn't touch any other part of the engine, so that way you get a proper read if the injector is ticking. It should be like a pulse, okay? But in this instance, we're going to use the stethoscope so that way we can get an accurate read, okay? And you want to do the same thing. You want to go straight to the back of the injector, and then once the car is being crunked, you should be able to hear a pulse coming through here, and then that will entail that the injector is working. And we'll start that in just a second. Of the injector, and you want to hear a ticking or a clicking, and that's what we hear. That lets us know that this injector is working. And you can do this on all the injectors to make sure that they're all working. Keep in mind, you don't want to touch any other part of the engine while you're doing this test, so that way you have an accurate read on each one. Now, what we're doing to make sure that the injectors are getting spark or fire coming from the computer, what we've done, we got the DOV meter right here to indicate that we're getting fire. Shaking it down, putting it down to a common ground, and finding the common live wire, if you will, between the injectors. Now, in this particular set, black and white, the yellow and white is the power wire, if you will, and we went ahead and back probed it, grounded, and this is the number we came up because we had the key on. So that's telling us that this injector is working. And you repeat this process on each injector to ensure each one is working by back probing each one.